Buonasera, a very quick one about a few words actually that get always mixed up a little bit and confused. In fact, I actually have the little suspicion that I may have covered this before or something like that. So I may have mentioned this before. Anyway, let me just share the usual document. I said this is very, very quick one. But it does, it keeps coming up with my students. As I said, I use some of the doubts or mistakes or things that my students confuse or keeps getting confused as ideas for some of the videos. So if you have seen it before, it's a little revision. Otherwise, it would be a new thing for you, very useful. So we have some words which are very, very similar to each other. And they can be confusing because they look the same, but then they are masculine or feminine. They have a similar or completely different meaning. So when we have the word fine, we do have, as I have done a video actually where there are some words which are just the same, similar, but masculine and feminine. As an example, basilico, which is basil, and basilica, which is a church. So they did have a video with about things like that. However, in this case, the noun itself is just the same. However, it can be masculine or feminine. So the first one, la fine, that is the end of something. So when it's feminine, la fine, you're talking about the end of something. It could be la fine del mese, the end of the month. La fine del libro, the end of the book, in a book, or anything else. So yeah, feminine. You have to be obviously aware when you're reading. Sometimes there is the first thought that you recognize the word, and there is the very first meaning that comes to mind. But so sometimes the very first meaning could be the correct one, but other times it's not. So you have to be a little bit more aware and always look around. Is there the article? There is an article, or there is something else that tells you if the word is masculine or feminine, or if you're translating something that doesn't make sense, then you have to go back and find where the lack of sense comes from, and maybe you just got the gender incorrect. So as I said, la fine, feminine, is the end. However, we also have the word il fine, masculine, which is the aim, the goal of something. So the end goal of something, that is il fine. You're more likely to see the feminine one, la fine, at the end of something instead of il fine, because also we have other words for goal or aim. What is confusing, especially, is the fact that the word end is feminine, la fine. However, if we are talking about the weekend, fine settimana, la fine, and as we said, is feminine. La settimana is also feminine. However, when you have the word meaning weekend, it becomes masculine. Il fine settimana. Remember, there is also nothing in between fine and settimana. It is always fine settimana. I'm not sure. This is probably just my theory that the fact that possibly the word weekend, the English word weekend, was borrowed in Italian first. And when the borrowed or foreign words in Italian are normally masculine. So il weekend, if you want to use the English word, And maybe afterwards, weekend has been eventually translated into Italian, fine settimana, but it has remained masculine. That's just my theory. I don't know. Anyway, if you're talking about a weekend, and then it would be masculine, il fine settimana. So last weekend, il fine settimana scorso o lo scorso fine settimana. Another word very similar with a completely different meaning is fino a. So this does not change. It's not a noun. It fino a, which is it comes with this, is accompanied by the preposition a, means until or up to. So fino a domani, until tomorrow. Fino a alla strada, up to the road or anything else. So both in a physical sense, or also more abstract sense. Also, not to be, all these are not to be confused with the verb finire, which is to finish, which when it's conjugated is you conjugate it like capire, so it's finisco, it has a kind of irregularity. I think had it been regular, which is not, had it been regular, then you'd have conjugated this in the present tense with io fino, but doesn't exist. Io fino does not exist. Finisco is I finish. Another word, in fact, that you can find fino is I'm not sure how correct it is, or fine, in fact, as an adjective is fine. It's like sottile. Sottile is narrow or subtle as well. Yeah, narrow is probably the most um, one of the main meanings. There could be more. So this you could find this as an adjective as well. So you have to be very aware when you're reading something, translating something. Is this word, is it a noun? Does it have an article? Or is it a noun? I mean, yeah, there is an article, or is there an adjective that is describing this word as a noun? Or look at the end. So don't assume they just because it looks like a word that you know. This it can apply to many other words, not just this one. Just because it looks like a word that you know, don't immediately assume that it is that word, especially as I said, if you end up with something that doesn't make sense. Rarely by accident, you can end up with something that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, go back and double check the meaning you have given to the word. And make sure, yes, is this an adjective, a noun, is it a verb or something else, adverb or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But so make sure that you don't translate it or don't yet make assumptions or guesses. That is even worse. Anyway, I will see you. I hope this is useful and thank you for watching and liking. I will see you on our next one. Bye bye. Ciao.